What's up, everybody? I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I'm Anthony. On today's video, I'm feeling a little bit froggy. I want to get out in the woods and I want to do something that's going to take a little bit of effort. So today, I'm going to make pine tar. Alright, so yeah, you heard me correctly. Today we're going to be making pine tar. So obviously, if I'm saying pine tar, where do you think that comes from? That's right, pine trees. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to find me a good source of resin. Resin being the sap from pine. However, you don't want a green wood in this process. When I say green wood, I mean you're not trying to get from a living tree, all right? We're not making turpentine here. We're making pine tar. So what the best kind of pine you're going to find is a dead one, all right? Preferably one that you may have killed yourself or one that, broke over from a windstorm or something. So a tree that's been cut in half, died naturally, whatever, when that happens, the pine sends all the resin down, okay? It gets down into the bottom of that wood. We call that fatwood. I'm sure you see a lot of people making fatwood fires because the resin gets in the wood and it's very, very flammable. So what we're going to do in this process is we're going to take some of that fatwood and we are going to almost render it down like you would render fat. When you do that, it turns that resin into a tar-like substance called pine tar. You're gonna need a few materials. Nothing too fancy, you can get a lot of stuff pretty cheap. Main thing you're gonna need is 2 cans, all right? One bigger can, I use Christmas tins. It's right at that time of year, you can get these things really cheap. This one's one that popcorn came in, I've been using for years to make charcoal. Then I got a smaller one I picked up from the Dollar Tree for $1. So yeah, no excuse there. You're gonna need a punch. Center punch, preferably one with a little bit of a point. You're going to need a hammer, a shovel, an axe, and a bucket to collect your fatwood. Here's a good candidate. Looks like it was broken off during the course of a storm, windstorm, broke the top off, and the tree is still standing. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to cut in with our axe right around here to see if that wood is full of sap. So here's what we got. You see how the wood has got a lot of sap in it. That's what we want. That's the fat wood. However, there's also quite a bit of termite activity. So this one might be a little too far gone. I'm going to cut around the backside because it seems like the termites are focused here. I'm going to cut around the backside and see if I can get quite a few pieces that are really sappy. And if I can, then I will use those. But if this tree's a little too far gone, I might have to find a new one. First tree is a little bit too far gone. This one is obviously dead, as you can tell by the bark coming off. Don't know how it killed it, maybe some beetles, but took a couple swipes with the axe and you see that good yellow wood down right here by the roots. So probably take a nice little chunk out right here. Give me some fat wood. The other one it was just too punky, too much termite damage. Yeah, there was some in there, but there was termites with it, so I figured I'd get one that wasn't quite so far gone, and this looks like a good candidate, so let's harvest some fat wood. Alright, so I want to do a little visual for people that don't really know what fat lighter or fatwood is in comparison to other pine. I know I'm kind of sweaty, but forgive me, I was just swinging an axe for half an hour, so. This is regular pine, alright? It's very light colored. I'm obviously cutting a white pine. This is very light colored, not very much sap in here. This is fatwood. You see the color difference? This is full of resin. This one's not really. So when it comes down to being able to make pine tar or light things on fire, that kind of good stuff, you want this stuff, not so much this stuff. Cool. Here's the fatwood that I collected. There's a lot in there, but you're going to want to fill the tin up, so yeah, collect as much as you can. When it comes to your tin, the big tin, like I said, I've been using the same one for making charcoal because it's essentially the same process, but there's one big difference. With charcoal, you just want to have one hole on the top so the air can escape inside so it doesn't blow up on you. But when you're making this, you're going to want to have a hole in the bottom so the resin or pine tar can drip out. So you're going to want to put a hole in the bottom, but don't put it in this way because then the flares of the metal are going to be sticking up and you're not going to get anything draining. So you're going to want to put the hole in from the inside so it kind of bows out and the metal shavings go outward so it'll facilitate dripping. So that's what we're going to do with the chisel and, or I'm sorry, the punch and the hammer. We're going to make a hole. We have our little hole right here. You see what I'm saying about the bottom side? You want that metal sticking out like that so it helps dripping, all right? You don't want those in the inside because then it'll never drain out. Now we're just gonna fill this up with our Fatwood. So now you're gonna make sure you fill up that tin as much as you can with the Fatwood. You want to try to take away as much empty space as you can, especially from my experience making charcoal. You don't want that empty space. You want to make sure this in here burns, but not all the way, all right? The whole purpose of making charcoal, doing this, is to heat up the resin so it drains out. But when you're making charcoal, you're basically burning off any impurities in the wood. That's why charcoal lights so fast, because all the impurities are already gone. So that's the whole principle here. So once you get it almost full, or about full, you're gonna put your top on. All right, now here comes the fun part. Gotta dig a hole. Not a deep hole, just one big enough to fit that small tin in. Okay, as you can see, I buried this down just about to the brim. The whole reason we're doing this is because dirt don't burn. All right, so since dirt doesn't burn, whatever's in here will be much cooler than the fire around it, all right? So you make sure this is buried, and all you do is you just put your tin right on top, making sure that hole is in the center. Now, just like when making charcoal, you're gonna surround it with kindling. That way you can light it on fire. And all we're trying to do is just maintain a fire around this until the smoke that comes out of here goes away and you get a little bit of a flame. That's how you know your charcoal is just about done. I'll show you that, of course. But yeah, we gotta light this sucker up. So in the true spirit of Christmas, since we're using Christmas tins, I'm gonna use Christmas tissue paper to get the fire started. So we're just gonna stick that down here and light it using our trusty Zippo with the dual flame insert. I will do a video, or actually I already did a video on it. I'll put that up here. Yeah. All right, now it's gonna maintain a fire. So I'm about half an hour into this, and the wind has decided it wants to start picking up. So please, this should go without saying, but I have to mention it. Please remember fire safety. Always have a bucket of water or some water or a shovel to put fire on, put dirt on your fire to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. We don't want forest fires over here. Luckily, it's very humid here, so it's very hard to catch fire, but we don't want that situation to happen. As you can see, the wind is starting to stir, so got to keep an eye on your stuff, never walk away. As you can see, there is smoke coming out that top hole, so that is a very good sign. That means good things are happening, impurities are being burned off, and the resin should be hot enough to start flowing, so that is a very good sign. Maybe another hour. 2 hours in, and we're really putting out some smoke, so it really shouldn't be too much longer now. You always want to do like a little finish burn to see if there's any more smoke that comes out, because once the smoke stops coming out the top hole right there, you're done. And it hasn't smoked probably for a good 5 minutes, even with all that kindling around it, so I'm pretty sure we are finished up. So I'm gonna let that burn down for a second. I'm gonna scoop all the ashes off to the side, and we will see if we are successful. All right, let's see if our hard work paid off. Oh yeah, that is what I'm talking about. Look at this. You see that? Beautiful, beautiful pine tar. Excellent. All right, let me go get a jar so I can put that in there and actually show y'all what it looks like. Just make sure I don't bust my jar. I want to see how much this thing, the temp is. About 180. Okay, cool. See how hot the coals are. Very hot. So my plan worked by digging down into the ground. The ground kept it much cooler, so awesome. Okay, so there you have it. That's what we got. Out of all that Fatwood that I put in there, I should have weighed it beforehand. This is how much pine tar you get after it's all said and done with. We are looking at about 110 milliliters, a little over half a cup of pine tar. So as you can see, if you want any significant amount, you're gonna have to do this several times or use a much bigger tin. I just wanted to see if I could do this. Obviously, if I got the chainsaw out and I did this on a much bigger scale, then yes, I could have made more pine tar. But now I know that I can do it for sure, not just reading about it and saying I can do it, but actually doing it. I can make more, not a problem. The whole process took me about 3.5 to 4 hours. That includes chopping it out of the tree and burning it, so it's not really too bad. you can make use of your day if you would like to do something like this, a little project. So the reason why I made this is, you know, there's so many uses for pine tar, but there's two main ones. Number one, it is an excellent wood sealant. All right, if you're gonna be doing anything with boats, or if you're gonna be building something that's gonna get the weather, you wanna make sure you seal that wood, because moisture in wood causes it to rot, causes insects to attack it. You don't want that. So if you can put some sort of natural sealant on there, that's not going to happen, and you'll be much better for it. Another use for pine tar is going to be on your skin. How it seals out wood, it does the same thing for your skin. So if you have things like little eczema, psoriasis issues, skin diseases or whatever, fungal disease, if you put this stuff on there, it is absolutely excellent for it. That's why people make things like pine tar soap. You don't see it as much anymore, but it used to be a real big thing before chemical soaps came out with. So that's why people make pine tar, or did make pine tar way back when. And I wanted to see if I could do it, and guess what? I can. So hey, I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please do me a humongous favor and give me a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel, and I would very much appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch y'all later, okay? Bye. One more thing before I go, for those of y'all that are curious, yes, this isn't just about making pine tar. A byproduct is you are making some really good charcoal. So when everything's all cooled down, there's no more smoke coming out of here, you go ahead, you peel the top off, and congratulations, you have some really, really, really good charcoal, okay? So you can make your charcoal water filter, all kinds of good stuff. I've already done this with a charcoal water filter. I'll put a video up here how I did it using charcoal just like this. So hey, multiple uses.